And away we go. That's right. It's a Thursday. It's the middle of August. Things are shaping up the rest of the week. We've got UFC Shanghai, of course, and a lot of news to talk about. Of course, there's always something in the world of MMA, in the world of combat sports. And we're here today for the best show, the best place, the best people, the best chat, the best competitors, the best commenters, the best trolls. They're all here. And this is going to be a fantastic MMA Daily Thursday show. We got a lot to talk about. And first off, I got to mention this. Shout out to Championship Rounds. Fantastic graphics so far. October 4th, UFC 320. Absolutely loaded. Ankalaev Pereira 2. Duwalish Willie versus Sandhagen. Yuri Prohaska versus Khalil Roundtree. What an absolutely bonkers top 3 fights for that card. Meanwhile, the next week, not 7 days later, Charles Oliveira versus Rafael Fiziev. Carlos Prates versus somebody. He says there's big news incoming. And Figgy's back against Montel Jackson. Montel Quick Jackson. That's right. He returns for his one fight every year against Figueiredo. Sorry for the bumps. Sorry for the bruises. We're going to walk our way right through this one. Meanwhile, the next freaking week, we got more from UFC Vancouver. That's a 4-week stretch unlike any that we have had in a lot of time, in a long, long time. It feels like this is back to the old days before the global pandemic. Anyway. UFC Vancouver, De Ridder, Hernandez, Cheeto versus Ayman Zahabi. We got Jazz DeVicious on the card. We got Kevin Holland, Mike Mallet. That one's going to be fun as well at welterweight. Big test for Mike Mallet. And the week after, the big boys are going to get after it. Tom Aspinall, the now official heavyweight champion of the world, undisputed, will be taking on Cyril freaking Gane, of course. Potential co-main Volkov versus Almeida, but I hope they stack that card a little bit more. Maybe that ends up being the co-main, maybe not. We'll see. Hamza, will he make that tournament? We talked about that yesterday. Is it going to be Imavov, Kyle Bahalio? Dana White seems to think that it's a 4-way race between Kaio, Imavov, of course, RDR, and then Fluffy also here in this image as well. But anyway, you guys let me know your thoughts about this. This is one of the most stacked full months that we have had in quite a long time, at least in recent memory. I mean, fantastic stuff going on here. I'm excited for it. Hope everybody else is looking forward to it. It's going to be pretty freaking awesome. Anyway, let's see the latest. Of course, Rainier De Ridder went on the Pound for Pound podcast with Henry Cejudo and Kamaru Usman. Let's take a listen to what he had to say. A little bit of a clip, a little bit of a comment here from him regarding the middleweight division. Let's take a listen.
The main thing is about this fight is when it's going to happen. If he wants to fight in Abu Dhabi, I think it's very clear that I'm the guy. Kaio and Imavov are fighting in 3 weeks, so it might be a little bit too short for one of them to step up. I think Imavov is very deserving as well. Right. He's very skilled. He has a crazy record. What he did to Adesanya was great. Was amazing. I didn't expect that at all, and it was perfect. I think Kaio should. He's not there. He didn't even fight this year, I think. So his last win was over Cannonier, maybe. His best win is Cannonier, which is good, but MVP just beat him as well. So I beat 5 guys this year, and he beat nobody this year. So I think he's not there at the moment. And I'd say Fluffy is he's close as well. He's very good. He did amazing in his last fight, and he...
Interesting take there. Of course, Kyle Bahalio, his last win, Jared Cannonier, August of 2024. Since then, De Ridder has rattled off 4 huge wins. Of course, if you're out there in the comments, let me know. Could you hear that? Did you have the audio? Just want to make sure everything's running smooth this morning. Anyway, Kyle Bahalio hasn't done very much over the past year. Rainier De Ridder has come onto the scene, burst onto the big stage, and made big statements on a nearly month-to-month basis. Meanwhile, Fluffy Hernandez also close. His win streak ever developing, ever growing. Imavov, of course, got that huge win over Adesanya back in February. Rainier De Ridder's got some good comments on there. I think he's got a pretty good mindset for this whole thing. Very interested to hear what he has to say there. Very good stuff from him. Anyway, the big news came out late last night. Bryan Battle has been removed from the UFC roster. Battle's departing from the UFC with a record of 7-1 and 1 no contest. The American missed weight in 3 occasions with the promotion. Shout out Fight Orbit for putting this together. Of course, looking a little flabby there at the middleweight division. I mean, this guy was really turning into quite the monster. Of course, that throwback to last year, UFC Paris, the big, huge, monstrous post-fight interview that he gave. One of the best post-fight interviews you'll ever hear in combat sports. WWE, rehearsed, unrehearsed. I don't know what the heck the deal was with him there, but good grief. That guy knows how to spit on the mic. He knows how to show up in the cage and put on entertaining performances over the last couple of, I don't know, about 2 years or so. He's really been putting on some good performances. Of course, that Randy Brown fight does not come to mind as one of the more entertaining battles, but he had some issues there. Missed weight in that one at 170. Comes back up to 185 to fight Nursultan Ruzaboyev at UFC 319. Misses weight. Can't make the cut. Now he has been cut. Of course, he was trying to get that fight with Ruzaboyev booked for UFC 321. They kind of came to some sort of gentleman's agreement there. Looks like that's not happening. Well, so long, Bryan Battle. He will be missed because, I will say, very entertaining fighter. Over the past couple of years, has really developed into a fighter who's willing to just take shots, walk forward, and put it on his opponents. Of course, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen any longer. Bryan Battle, maybe he can fight his way back to the UFC. He is still pretty young, of course. I'm reading a little bit about what RJ Clifford of the UFC has to say. Says Dana wasn't very bothered by the UFC, or wasn't very bothered by Bryan Battle's weight miss. But I don't know. I guess they just got to make decisions. They got to cut ties with the quote-unquote troublemakers. Sad to see Bryan Battle go, in a sense. I know it's unprofessional to miss weight. I don't like the weight misses. I don't understand it. Show up, make the weight. That's all you got to do. Didn't make it. A little bit sad to see him go just because he's a fun, entertaining fighter. What else we got going on? Of course, some other news. Rob Font, I believe he's 9th or 10th ranked in the bantamweight division. He'll be welcoming Raul Rosas to the rankings. That's right. Raul Rosas, of course, the young phenom who was highly touted for being the first 18-year-old to enter into the UFC. Competed on the Dana White Contender Series when he was 17 years old. This guy, he's had some ups and downs. He's had his moments. He's had some entertaining moments. Had some boring moments too. El Nino Problema. He's 11-1. Right? 20 years old now. Can he keep it going? Of course, his current win streak, 4 wins in the UFC. Vince Morales, Richie Lang, Ricky Tercios, Terrence Mitchell. Lost to Christian Rodriguez, of course. The prospect slayer, Christian Rodriguez. Got that win over Jay Perrin. In his debut, Mando Gutierrez on the Contender Series. But listen, I see 2 unanimous decisions in his last 2 fights against guys who are solid fighters. I do like Vince Morales. I rate him pretty highly. Longtime vet of the sport. 34 years old. Good to get a win against that guy. Now, is Vince Morales the most athletic, the most dangerous fighter? Absolutely not. But he's a crafty vet. He is what you would call a crafty vet. Same kind of thing with Richie Lang. Is he super dangerous? No. 32 years old, 25-12 now. Listen, tough out. Not an easy fight. I understand the decisions. But we need to keep improving. And it's hard for me to say that this next matchup against Rob Font, 22-8, 38 years old, looking pretty damn good as of late. Gene Matsumoto, split decision, close. Some people think that he didn't win the fight and it was Gene's. Kyler Phillips, who was expecting that one? Kyler Phillips looked like he was on a tear. Rob Font upset it. Upset the apple cart, right? Threw everything. Through the loop. We MMA fans were losing our minds over that one, at least. Some of us were anyway, considering he is rapidly rising into that 40-year-old range, that 39, 40, 41, where they really start to fall off the wagon there. Had that big upset over Adrian Yanez, proving that he's not done yet. But he's lost to the top of the division, Davison Figueiredo, Sandman, Cheeto, and Jose Aldo over the last couple of years. I don't know. Will this be the chance? Will this be the opportunity that Raul Rosas needs? Of course, Rob Font is on the older side of things, right? I just don't know. I don't know if this is going to be that fall off the cliff moment for Rob Font. He's looked clean. He's looked crisp, pretty good over these last couple of fights. So I do like what I'm seeing from him. But you guys let me know. Rob Font, Raul Rosas. Immediate thoughts, reaction to this fight. Who do you think's going to win this one? Raul Rosas' stand-up is... it's probably good enough for him to survive long enough against Rob Font, who doesn't have huge pop in his hands, right? Can't really lay somebody out with one shot, but if Raul Rosas leaves his giant chin hanging out there for Rob to just tee off on, who knows? Maybe Rob could get, maybe just this could be Rob's chance to get another finish, or Rob Font will be the stepping stone for Raul Rosas. It's interesting. It's an interesting matchup. Older guy versus the young guy coming into the rankings. It's a big name fight. Rob Font's been around for a long time. Big name guy, roughly, right? Roughly a big name. Not the casuals' favorite, right? Not a kind of guy that the casuals know. But for the hardcores, Rob Font is a big name. So, again, you guys let me know about this one in the comments. I want to know what your thoughts on that one are, because there are other fights in the rankings that make sense for Raul Rosas as well. I mean, we've got guys like Luke Riley coming into this thing. Of course, the Cage Warriors phenom, the guy that we've all been waiting to see. Will he sign with the UFC? Will he go to the PFL like a Paul Big News Hughes? Looks like it's going to be Riley coming to the UFC. This is big-time stuff. Luke Riley, we're all excited for it. Can he capitalize? Can he prove that just because you're coming from somewhere outside the UFC doesn't mean that you're a bum, doesn't mean that you're going to lose your first fight? Patchy Mix, Aaron Pico, Patricio Pitbull. Of course, these guys are coming over from Bellator, PFL. This is Cage Warriors. Cage Warriors is basically a feeder program to the UFC. Of course, it's regional MMA over in Europe. It is what it is. But I think we're all excited for Luke Riley. Brings a fun style to the octagon. It's had some action fights. We can take a look at his Tapology page as well, just to see what he's been up to recently. If I can find him on here. Come on, brother. There he is. Okay. 11-0. 5'9", 26 years old, still on the younger side of things. That's what we want to see for prospects. We don't need to see prospects that are 30 years old, 31, 32, coming off the Contender Series. We want young, hungry up-and-comers. This guy fights mean. He fights nasty. He is fun to watch. He has 0 submission victories, mind you. 3 wins by decision. 8 KOs. His last finish, absolutely brutal, back in March. Man, it's been a while since March. He was supposed to take on Kevin Vallejos last year on the Contender Series. That one got canceled. That one didn't work out for him. But big overhand right, ground and pound strikes, September 2024. Interesting there. Right, of course, he had the decision against John De Jesus. Alexander Loof, I don't know how to pronounce it, let's be honest here. Also a finish. TKO. Got to keep active for Riley, right? That's been the issue over the last year or so. A little bit less active than I'd like to see for a guy coming up the regional scene. But listen, he's a highly touted prospect, right? They want him to be their big star over in Cage Warriors, right? They're not going to just wheel him out every other month like some of these guys that start coming up the ranks real quick. Of course, that is Luke Riley. I'm excited to see him fight. I'm excited to see what he can do, because this is the kind of guy, again, with the right matchmaking, this guy can work out perfectly. This guy can ascend up the rankings, keep improving, 26 years old. By the time he's 28, maybe stepping into the rankings. We'll see if he can develop and clean up some things. I am excited for Luke Riley. Paradox, what's up, man? Luke Riley will destroy everybody. Welcome in, man. England is coming for everybody. Now, listen. I'm excited for Luke Riley. Who else we got on the regional scene over there in England? Let us know, Paradox, in the chat. Drop it down for everybody. Drop some knowledge. Drop some heaters for us, because we need that. We need that. What else we got going on? DC talking about John Jones, Anderson Silva, Goatless, everything of the like. Of course, he was on Shannon Sharp's either nightcap or some kind of podcast. I don't know, talking to him. John Jones wasn't beating me at heavyweight. I don't think so, because I was just too good at heavyweight. The McGrizzler. Lewis. Is it Lewis McGrillen? That dude's absolutely fantastic. Absolute monster over there in the PFL. Lewis McGrillen, another huge English prospect. This guy's been putting on some fantastic performances over in the PFL. Whew. I mean, was it the Alexander Luster fight? Was that the one that I'm thinking of that was just absolutely bonkers? Or was it the Dean Garnett fight? I believe it was the Dean Garnett fight. 12, 13 times these guys went up, down, up, down. Holy moly, what a fight. Fight of the year 2024? Easily could have been. Easily could have been. This guy's putting on great performances left, right, and center. 24 years old. Can we get this guy in the UFC after his PFL contract? That's going to be my first question when it comes to Lewis McGrillen, the McGrizzler. Very excited. Very excited for him. What else we got going on? More Luke Riley mess. We claim Ateba Gautier because he trains in England. Hey, that counts. That counts as well. Over there, I believe he's training with Lerone Murphy as well. So Lerone got that huge win. Ateba was in the crowd. Very excited for that one. I mean, what else do we have going on? This is a great time for English MMA. These young guns coming up. Ateba Gautier, is he really English? Colby Covington's burner. Welcome in, sir. Glad you're here. Farting up a storm. You know what? Better out than in, right? Better out than in. Don't hold that shit in. Let it go. Let it go. What else we got going on? Of course, who the fuck saw this coming? Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis. I mean, what are we doing here? 220 pounds versus 135, 145 with his clothes soaking wet. I mean, come on. What is with boxing these days? I mean, of course, it's going to do bonkers numbers. Paul smokes Davis. You think he's going to smoke him in terms of, like, winning? Or via skill? Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is just, what are we even talking about here? Jake Paul, one of the greatest boxers of all time. Gervonta Tank Davis. I mean, just an absolute bum, right? Anyway, this one's going to be fucking massive. It's going to do huge numbers. Everybody's going to think this is just some clown freak show thing. And they're going to tune in because it's free on Netflix. Going to be Friday night, November 14th, Atlanta, State Farm Arena on Netflix. Huge show. We'll see what the undercard looks like. I mean, you can say he's going to flatline him so badly. You think Jake Paul's going to flatline Tank, or you think Gervonta is going to get the job over Jake Paul? I mean, this is a huge size discrepancy. The smallest guy can even think that Jake Paul fought was Nate Robinson, of course, the basketball player, who's known for being short, but he's like 5'9", 5'10". Tank Davis is like 5'4", 5'5". I mean, the dude's tiny. Jake, he's the best of all time. Hey, we know this. Obviously, this guy's the best of all time. And if you say otherwise, he will quite literally sue you for saying otherwise. Now, of course, that's not exactly true, but if you say his fights are rigged, allegedly rigged, he will come and sue you. He will come and find you, no matter how small the channel, no matter how small the platform. That's pretty fucking pathetic, pretty embarrassing, and that shows me that maybe you got something to hide, but I don't know. That's just me. More news, though. Let's get right into it. Sean Brady claims that he was offered the UFC Vancouver main event against Ian Garry, but Ian Garry did not accept. Hence, the spot went to Ranier de Ritter and Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, one of the best main event slots for the rest of the year, for the entire 2025 year. That's badass, Vadas, or badass. Hey, I don't know, man. Ian Garry's ducking Colby apparently too, so we'll see, man. We'll see, man. I don't listen. Colby Covington's burning. You let me know. You let me know. You're in the weeds with Colby. You talk to him every day, I assume. Is Ian taking these short notice opportunities because he knows that if he loses, he's not losing that much stock? He's saving the event, right? All he had to do was accept my terms. Obviously, bro. Obviously. Oh, that video was awesome. Colby, what happened, man? That video was fucking epic, and then you proceeded to not do a lot since then. Anyway, let's take a listen to Sean Brady. Let me pull up the video from yesterday. We'll hear from the horse's mouth himself. I mean, this guy's pissed. He's been calling for the Ian Garry fight for months now, and we just can't get it done. Come on, Ian. Take the fucking fight. We can't always pick and choose, of course. He picked that fight against Carlos Prates, in my opinion, because Carlos Prates, long-rangey striker, Ian Garry, long-rangey striker, can outpoint fight a power, slower striker in Carlos Prates. Carlos was preparing for a Jeff Neal, close, tight, inside boxing kind of guy, totally different style. He took the fight against Shavkat because there was really nothing to lose for him. That guy really grinds my gears. He's a very good fighter, Ian Garry is, but damn, dude. I feel like he's picking some of these fights to be just perfect. He's waiting until the moment comes in which he can jump into something short notice. Oh, Islam got injured before the JDM fight. I'm going to step into that one. Like, he's just always just seems to be in the right place at the right time, biding his time, waiting behind the scenes, crafting and manipulating everything, of course. His wife is involved as well. Anyway, let's take a listen to what Sean Brady had to say.
So I got a call from my manager right around International Fight Week, so at the end of June timeframe, about me and Ian fighting in Chicago. I said yes. Didn't hear anything for weeks. I'm assuming the UFC moved on. Recently, they hit us up. They said, me and Ian, main event in Vancouver. I said yes immediately. Yes, let's go. I've been wanting to fight since May, and these were the only ones I've been offered. Said yes twice. Now, I don't know why Ian's fucking was dragging his feet or whatever he was doing, and now they put in RDR and Fluffy. So now, once again, we're sitting and waiting. So, thanks, Ian. Just lost another main event because of you, my man.
Now, of course, things always happen behind the scenes. Things get crazy. Things get wild. But if this is true, fuck Ian Garry. Fuck that bitch. Fuck him. Seriously. Pussy shit. Pathetic. Get in there and fight like a fucking man. Stop point fighting. I'm tired of it. He's a good fighter. I think you're foolish if you think Ian Garry isn't a good fighter. He's clearly a good, well-rounded fighter. But he don't finish shit. And he ain't taking any kind of fights that are outside of his wheelhouse, that he picks, that he chooses. Sean Brady's the shorter guy. Why would you want to fight a long-range striker like that? He's going to jab your nose off, right? You might think that. He's taking the fight because he knows that there needs to be a number one contender. Islam's fighting JDM. We all know this. Whether it's November, December, January, there needs to be a clear-cut number one contender for the belt. Shavkat, injured, been taking too long. We'll see who he fights next. Sean and Ian need to make it the number one contender fight. Sean Brady beat up on Leon Edwards, arguably deserves the title shot himself for doing that. He's trying to be a good, fun, active fighter. This is all we want to see from fighters. 3 fights a year. You show up, You make weight, you put on good performances for the fans, you stay active, you stay in the media wheel cycle, right? The whole thing, the media cycle. You stay in the know, you stay in the public eye, you stay at the center of our attention by staying active and putting on good performances. Sean Brady's just trying to do that, trying to provide a living for his family, blah, blah, blah. Ian Garry, picking and choosing his fights, sitting out until it's convenient. It's just what it looks like. It's what it looks like. Everything surrounding this makes that look like exactly what he's trying to do. And I don't like that shit. Guys who take chances, guys who step up on short notice when they can. Of course, it's not always smart to do so. But he clearly picked the exact moment, the exact right time to show up. And that's Ian Garry for you in a nutshell. Getting a little tired of it. I won't lie to you. I will not lie to you. What else we got going on? Carlos Oberg. I think we talked about this yesterday. He's pretty confident he'll get the win over Reyes. Of course, the UFC, they haven't officially told Carlos that, well, yeah, if you get a finish, if you do something great, you'll get the title shot. But I imagine if he gets a finish, if he gets a fantastic performance down there in Perth, that he will likely get that title shot. But listen, if he puts on a lackluster 5-round decision kind of fight against Reyes, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to give it to him. If they haven't said it to you outright, you're not guaranteed anything. Oh, look at this. We got some training footage of Conor McGregor. My goodness. He's back. Looks like he's teaching a seminar, doing something. Good grief. I thought that haircut was a joke. Apparently not. Anyway, you guys let me know what's going on in the comments down below, what you want to talk about. What else do we have to cover? What's the news lately? What else is going on? Looks like John Jones getting after it on Twitter. Let's take a look, take a listen. Judah, what's up, my man? What's up, bro? Glad to have you in here. Appreciate you being here. Who you got? Ilya or Islam Makhachev? I don't know if I even want to pick that fight. Now listen, of course, track record suggests Ilya Topuria has the touch of death. Islam Makhachev, the more well-rounded, more dangerous fighter in all aspects of the game. I don't know. Can he keep the distance? Can he manage the distance? Can he stay away from those huge left and right hooks of Ilya Topuria? I just don't know, man. He is so clean and crisp with that boxing. The way that he avoided danger on the ground against Charles Oliveira was very impressive as well. I gotta lean Makhachev, but I got some weird feeling that Ilya could probably touch him and probably get it done, but hard to say, man. Thanks, Judah, for that comment. Appreciate you. That's a fun one. It's going to be a fun debate. Will that fight ever even happen is really the question. Anyway, let's see what John Jones has got to say. He's shooting back, firing off. Daniel Cormier, of course, is not putting him on the GOAT list, not putting him on the Mount Rushmore because of steroids. And Johnny Meat responds. High school state champ, JUCO national champ, youngest UFC champion, greatest in MMA history, a lifetime of losses, victories, and sacrifice. This guy wants to write it all off as steroids. Honestly, it's insulting, but I can't help but laugh knowing it was God-given abilities that made him feel so inferior. I'm pretty sure this guy's using ChatGPT. Of course, we already know that this guy's clearly using ChatGPT based on his last couple of tweets. He actually left in some ChatGPT notes there. Listen, I've used ChatGPT. Very helpful. But when you're trying to be authentic and trying to put out tweets on social media that are just allegedly off the cuff and your personal thoughts, well, it comes across a little bit odd. It looked like maybe he typed in summarize my entire career. I don't even know what to think anymore. It's John Jones. Whatever, dude. Whatever, bro. Probably the greatest fighter of all time. Probably also the biggest waste of talent. in the sport. Imagine what this guy could have done if he actually dedicated time, energy, and love and passion into the game like he was doing when he was 23 years old, grabbing the belt, taking it home as the youngest champion. Imagine if he continued on, stayed on the right path. Anyway, so he's also responding to completely random accounts for no reason because he's very insecure, clearly insecure. Why would you spend this time? I don't even respond to troll accounts. And I've got like 0 followers. I mean, what are we doing here, John? Why? So somebody says, once again, he's giving you credit, but you're too blinded by the hate. John says, to have a man out there lobbying on one of the biggest podcasts trying to convince that the world that my work ethic was powered by steroids, you clearly didn't even watch the interview. All right, Johnny Meat. Okay, buddy. I just don't think anybody cares about him, so he's got to stay relevant somehow. What is this? What is this? More news, more interesting things to talk about. Keep this thing rolling right along for a few more minutes. Keep this thing chugging along. So, Dana White on the Jay Cutler podcast, I believe. Let me know if I'm wrong. Of course, bodybuilder Dana White. I don't know when this happened. Probably last night. Probably dropped this morning. I don't know. We'll see what he's got to say. Compares fighter pay in Power Slap to WWE and AEW. So he's dissing the WWE, which is connected heavily with the UFC because of TKO, the parent company. Interesting. Okay.
Is it something like you're an amateur and you have to, how do you determine who comes on? Is there a ranking?
So think about this. So when we bought the UFC, right? The UFC wasn't the biggest. It was the most well-known, but it wasn't the biggest. There was Pride out there in Japan and tons of other competitors here in the United States. So there was already a steady flow of talent out there. With Power Slap, there are some knockoff leagues. There's one down in Brazil. There's one here in the U.S. It started in Russia and Poland. I think there's one in South Africa too. But to have a steady flow of competitors coming through, we now started running the guys through combines over at the PI. And for instance, there's a bunch of people out there.
All right, it's Power Slap. I really don't give a shit. Dude, there's Power Slap leagues all over the place. Russia is famous for having Power Slap leagues. Underground Power Slap competitions. I mean, who fucking cares, dude? Damn. This is pretty funny. I'm just going to leave that there. I'm just going to leave that there for you to admire and to take a look at. Golly. What are we doing here, boys? What are we doing here, boys? What else do we want to talk about? Somebody throw it in the chat. Somebody let me know. What do you want to talk about? Let me skim through, see if we got anything else interesting. Before we hop out of here, just a quick show, just going over a couple things that happened. Daniel Cormier, last night, of course. Shannon Sharp's podcast premiered. He's got some things to say about Conor McGregor. Of course, Conor McGregor, we can't get rid of this guy. He's always in the news cycle. Let's listen to what DC's got to say.
He won't say his name still today. He still does not say his name.
Because of what he said about his religion and about his dad.
He still won't say his name. Last week he did an interview in New York. He says, this guy, he'll never say his name. He hates him. Dude, they're in the octagon and Conor goes, he whispers after the third round, after Khabib's, it's just business. Khabib goes, no, it ain't. No, it ain't. You don't mess with them dudes, man. Them Russian dudes different.
And then when he had him, the ref had to do a little bit extra. DC, you saw that, DC.
He wasn't gonna
let him go.
He was gonna put him to sleep, Shannon. He was holding him and he said, I kicked your ass. I kicked your ass. And he kind of was like, then he jumped over the fence.
Yes.
And tried to beat his team. He's like, I was like, whoa. But dude, he had him. He was not going to let him go because he felt his family got so disrespected by this dude that he wanted to end him. And honestly, sometimes you bite off more than you can chew.
Yeah.
Because Conor got beat bad that night.
He did.
He got beat bad.
I mean,
He did. He did. And he survived a lot longer than most guys would have given him credit for. I'll say that as well. So, listen.
He
Conor
won't
got
say his
ass
name
beat,
still today.
but he showed up. I would have been shitting my pants if I had to fight Khabib. I mean, come on now. Let's be real here. Let's be fucking real. Who the hell wants to fight Khabib? Not me. So Carlos Prates, of course, called his shot after that huge spinning elbow knockout of Jeff Neal at UFC 319. Carlos, of course, then wanted to fight in Brazil, right? We've got the Brazil card coming up October 11th. Carlos says that great things are coming. UFC, give me the call. UFC has called him. We don't know. So, UFC 311, matchmaking. Who's it gonna be? This guy is absolutely awesome to watch on the feet. The dude is such a fucking stud. I mean, the aura this guy carries with him because he's smoking the cigarettes. I mean, you really can't get enough of this guy. Absolutely epic performer. Absolutely hilarious guy outside of the cage. I mean, whew. Who's it going to be? Who's going to pick up the phone? Who's going to accept it? Who will be called upon? And who will accept that call against Carlos Prates at UFC Rio? Because this is going to be a huge matchup, huge co-main event to Charles Oliveira versus Rafael Fiziev. We're just waiting to see who it's going to be. Maybe they throw it on a pay-per-view even. I don't know. Will he get that Rio fight? I hope he gets it. He deserves a hometown fight before he gets too fucking massive. I'm not so sure. If he'll ever become champion, I mean, the way he's knocking out motherfuckers, Jeff Neal never been finished, put him straight away, sliced his head open. From ear to ear, I mean, my God. What do we got going on? This is crazy. Who's it going to be? I can't wait. Jeff Neal, I thought would be a tough matchup. He gave Prates a tough fight for a minute, but Carlos just started teeing off on him. Finished the guy. We got PFL tonight. I will say that. We can touch on that for a second. A couple of championship fights. PFL World Tournament Finals, middleweight, heavyweight, light heavyweight. Got some interesting prospects on the undercard as well. Impa Sangana is back. Of course, we got Josh Silveira versus Murad Ramazanov. That one's going to be a fun one. Those guys get pretty scrappy. Antonio Carlos Jr., former UFC guy. Romanov, former UFC guy. Fabian Edwards, Dalton Rostro, whoever wins this likely will go on to face Johnny Eblin, Costello Van Steenis. We'll see what happens, but I'm excited for this. Big fights tonight. It is what it is. Now that they can throw elbows, it's actually fun to watch. Outside of that, it's still the PFL. It's still the B leagues. Will these guys ever cross over to the UFC? Hard to say. But you guys let me know in the comments down below what you're looking forward to on this PFL card. That'll do it for me today. Just a quick show, just breaking down what we've got going on today. PFL tonight. Got some LFA, got some other things. I don't know if LFA is actually going on this weekend, but we got some regional stuff. Got some exciting Friday morning fights tomorrow. UFC, road to the UFC tomorrow morning. More UFC Saturday morning. I mean, it's all bonkers this weekend. We got stuff all weekend long. Excited to watch it all. Excited to break it all down once the weekend is over. Anyway, guys, you have a great day. Have a good one. Stay safe out there. And I will see you next time.